Are you ready to learn the gentle art of leadership? This is the Scale You podcast, where every single episode we're bringing on an amazing expert to show you the different ways that you can scale yourself. In season 1, we explored how to scale yourself through entrepreneurship. Season 2 was digital nomads. Season 3 was multiple business owners. And now right in the middle of season 4, we are focused on a lot of people who wrote books, who basically authored and put down their thoughts into pen and paper and how they're sharing their ideas in the world. I am your host, Lacaba. I'm the co-founder and CEO of 2XU and also the author of the book Scale You, which walks you through step-by-step process of how to effectively actually hire a second brain assistant and how to integrate working with your assistant with AI. So if you're ready to ditch the grind, let's go over and scale you. Now, our guest today is an executive coach, speaker, and author of The Gentle Art of Leadership. With over 40 years of experience in the tech industry, including senior executive roles at Telstra and as CEO of the IT Skills Hub, he helps leaders transition from technical experts to influential people-first leaders. He believes the most effective leadership is grounded in dignity and respect, not ego or force. His latest book, co-authored with Dean Falan, draws on insights from 50-plus global leaders to challenge outdated ideas about what it means to lead well. So everyone, please help me welcome our guest today, Brian. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Leanne. Great to be here.
How are you? How are you doing today?
Really well, yes, in Melbourne, Australia, and it's a bit cold there, maybe not like your part of the world.
I always tend to forget that like Australia is like the opposite weather. So my brother moved, short story hopefully, my brother moved there and he like always, like as a Filipino, he's like, it's so freaking cold here on the summer where we're used to be, very, very hot. So that's always a funny kind of opposite side, even though we're about, I think it's like a 6-hour flight from where I am. Like it's a little bit of a difference, but it is kind of going down in the world. So that might be what it is. So excited to have you on the podcast. Like I said right before we hit record, I love the concept of your book already, so I'm excited to dive right into it. But of course, before that, tell us more about you. How did you get to the point that you're the kind of person who wrote a book? What was kind of that journey like, wherever you want to start it? But basically, what's your journey, Brian?
Yes, well, thanks, Dan. You can tell by all this grey hair that I've been around a while. So a long corporate career as a senior executive and a CEO of a not-for-profit. And then more recently, last 15, 20 years, I've had my own executive coaching business and focused really on the tech sector. That's the sector I worked in most of my career, and helping leaders make that transition from once being a technical expert, some kind of subject matter expert, into leadership. It's often a bit of a bumpy road. And that was the title of my first book, actually, Leanne. I know we're going to talk about the other one today, but My first book was called Leadership is Changing the Game. And the subtitle was The Transition from Technical Expert to Leader. It's a very common thing that people go through in the tech sector. My latest book, co-authored with my colleague Dean Falan, as you alluded to, is called The Gentle Art of Leadership. And it really puts together a lot of my thinking over this long grey-haired career that I put into a book. And maybe I should preface my comments today, Leanne, by saying that a lot of people have said and accused me of being a gentleman. It sounds like a bad accusation, but I accept it. My father taught me to be a gentleman. Most of the best leaders I met, men or women, were gentle leaders. In the sense they treated people well with dignity and respect and got the best out of them, took an interest in them. It hardly sounds like rocket science there, does it? But there's somehow this myth about leadership that you've got to be one of those egotistical, forceful, loud, brash kind of leaders. And, look, we do have those, but really the ones who get the best results are generally a bit more humble, a bit more about the team. And so, if people on your podcast, if your listeners or viewers are tuning in today thinking, I'm going to hear about this charismatic, loud, noisy kind of style of leadership, you're in the wrong place.
That's a good preface for what we're diving into. I love what you said. So one of my favorite books of all time, someone who's obsessed with books, is E-Myth. And I love the way that you said that, like, a lot of people are technicians, basically, who go into entrepreneurship not knowing what it actually means, that you're actually then leading. You're not just there to expand what you already know, but you're also leading people towards wherever it is that you're taking them. I'd love for you to expand that part. Like, how did you stumble upon that kind of essentially like area or niche in life? Like, was it something because of your current, like, your background directly, or was it something like a lot of people started asking you? What was kind of the starting point for you for that path?
Yes, well, I've probably got to go way back because it's kind of ingrained in my whole leadership journey. I remember in an earlier part of my career, very early part of my career, talking to a boss I had at the time. And I was telling him about a complaint I had with some particular group. This is a large organisation I was working in. This group in accounting were giving us some trouble. And he kept asking me, but who? And I wasn't really listening. I was just busy complaining, accounting are letting us down, and made my complaint. And eventually he said, but who? What's their name? I went, oh, okay, well, it's Bill. And all right, well, let's think about Bill and who Bill is and what Bill wants. And he looked me in the eye and he said, look, it's all people, it's all relationships. There's no such thing as accounting or, the large scale company. It's just a collection of people. And Bill's here today and he'll be somewhere else tomorrow. And you need to relate to the person. It was sounds pretty evident, self-evident now, Leanne, doesn't it? That you would think it's all people, but it was a light bulb moment for me and really informed a lot of my career and the way that I developed my leadership. As you alluded to, we need that kind of emotional intelligence to, be able to connect with people, get the best out of people, get the best out of ourselves too, of course, need that self-awareness. And I'd always really practiced that and believed that. And then I had this idea, maybe I should put that in a book because it would sort of be a counter. Yeah, it'd be counter to a lot of what you hear about leadership and read about leadership. It's often sort of talked about as, you need to be this charismatic, visionary kind of person. And, I had this idea of sort of cutting against the grain with the idea of the gentle art of leadership. By the way, it's the same for me personally when I say I've been called a gentleman. The gentle doesn't mean soft.
I like that, yeah.
The gentle doesn't mean that you're a pushover. And a colleague of mine, Dean Phelan, we shared the same kind of outlook, and I said, let's write this book together. And Dean had a long background in human resources business and done a lot of 360 reviews of leaders, and had really come up with, about 8 or 10 headings of what constitutes a great leader. So, Liam, we interviewed 50 plus people from around the globe, and that gave us a lot of confidence that we were on the right track with our idea, the premise of the book, that you get the best results if you treat people well. They said, oh yes, that's exactly what we think. And here's some practices, here's some experience, here's some anecdotes. And we put all those in the book. And now there's really a community of leaders around the globe who are advocating for us that the gentle art of leadership is the style if you want to get the best results. So it's that empirical evidence and the anecdotes and stories from 50 plus leaders that we've put in the book.
That's super cool. And it's like I said, for me, I'm looking forward to diving into your book because for me, like I've been called very much a lot soft-hearted, where I do, let people get away with stuff, but like it's really kind of just, at least for me, bare minimum being a leader is being someone who is understanding, being someone who is gentle, but not also too, you don't let other people bully you. And it's such a hard balance to do. Like it's almost like a little bit of a juggling act of making sure you have that heart, but at the same time you're serving people the right way. You're not just letting them do things the way that they want to do, and it's hurting everyone else. So it is a gentle balance. What was kind of in the interviews that you were doing, what was the most surprising thing, I guess, that you found as you're interviewing and talking to a lot of different people?
I think it was surprising but heartening to find that people were so passionate about the idea. And we were a bit like, well, we think we're onto something here. We think we've seen it in our experience that kind of leader is the one that gets the best results. But it was surprising really to find so many leaders, in very senior roles around the globe saying, yes, exactly, this is exactly what we should be talking about. And, this is exactly how we practice it. And here's the kind of results they got, like turnaround, in companies who turn around businesses through that sort of people first approach. And it's an important qualification that you made, that it's not gentle art as in soft or a pushover. That's often need to clarify that with people. The gentle approach is respectful and treating people well, but it's not like you do whatever you want. It's still focused on what's the best for the organisation. But, it was kind of surprising to find that there was so much validation for our idea. Does that make sense?
It does. And I'm thinking through so many other examples in my life, and also a lot of the amazing people that I've interviewed on the podcast as well, of how much they would agree to what you're saying. Of if you really want to grow and not have your business be very, very robotic, there's that growth basically part of you having to grow as a leader as well, of realizing all of these things. And I love what you said earlier too, of most people when they talk to entrepreneurs or when they talk to leaders, they're this big, loud, pompous person. But no, it's actually the actual leadership is actually learning how to, or knowing how to lead your people. So I love that you kind of really are trying to bring that together. Perfect. Okay, so with what you said of still keeping in mind that leadership is all about the humans basically that you're leading, with the advancement of AI, of science, of health and all that, if we were able to clone you perfectly, have another Brian in the world, and then going ahead and even getting 20, 300, an army of Brians in the world, how do you think you would want to affect the world? What would that look like?
That's such a great question. I'm just imagining what my children and grandchildren would think about that.
Right.
I think there's already enough with one of me. But no, look, I understand the idea behind your question, and it's really about multiplying our purpose, isn't it? I think my purpose is to get leaders who can make a difference. So, I would love the opportunity to have an army of advocates out there who are saying, look, there's a style of leadership too that really works. That's about treating people well and getting the best out of them. Also about treating yourself well and getting the best version of you that you can be. But if we think about anything we're trying to do in the world, any change we want in our community level or our business level, even in our families, it's all about leadership. So we need much more of the style of leadership that produces results. And certainly what we've found, and the empirical evidence that we've put forward in the book supports this, that the kind of results that you get from treating people well, respectfully, the gentle art of leadership, that's what makes a big difference. I was really heartened that the 50 plus leaders we interviewed have also become advocates for this style of leadership. So it's like a community is getting established, like I'm multiplying myself in the way that you asked. Does that answer your question? Does it get to what you're making?
Yeah, and I love that what you said there too. Even you kind of already duplicated part of your ideas in the 50 people you interviewed, and then they've become then people who teach the next person. And it's always the, multi-generational effect that we want to see. Like, the next, leader that comes up, they've already started learning and skipping a lot of the mistakes with your book, with how you teach people, with how you work with people. So that's amazing and wonderful to hear. So, Brian, where can people find you? How can people connect with you? Where are you the most active, or how can they kind of reach out to you?
Yes, that's a good question. Now, look, LinkedIn is a good spot. I do some regular posts in there, and have been posting about the stories about some of these 50 plus leaders on LinkedIn, but also elsewhere on Twitter, and we can put those links in the show note, my website as well. I think if you really want to find out, you can buy a copy of the book. That's a great idea.
I'm for sure grabbing it right after this.
Thank you. And I think, in terms of, for me, I'm also have found that a lot of people are saying, well, look, it's a great idea and I can see the evidence for it, but how? How do I develop the skills I need, this human touch that you're talking about? What are some of the practices? What's the methods? I have recently been studying the last 2 years or so with a group in the US called Influential You. The U is the letter U. Their programs are really fabulous for business professionals, and I've become accredited to run some of their group programs. And so it's really combining some ideas that they have about discovering your superpower, discovering what other people's superpower is, seeing it get work done. And so combining those ideas with the premise of the book, I found it gives people both the why and the how.
Got it. What was it? Is there a website that people can check out?
So we can put a link in the show notes to the latest program I've got in that field, and also my website will have more details of them too. But maybe the latest program, if people are interested in learning how you can practice the gentle art of leadership. I'd love to talk to them. We welcome an exploratory call and see whether it's for them.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I love that. Like, so it's always a weird, funny, missing piece when people write books. Is like we give them the why as much as possible, and then the how is always like, okay, now what? Now that I've understood what you're doing, now what? So you've captured that perfectly. Yeah, we'll put it in the description to make sure that people can follow. I will also explore myself and see what you have in store, and I'm excited to look at it. So thank you so much, Brian, for being on the podcast. I think for a lot of people who listen or are listening to this, they're like, oh, okay, maybe I should go ahead and grab Brian's book, which will be in the description. So thank you so much.
I'd love that. Thank you, Leanne. It's been an honor to be on your podcast. I really appreciate your time and making the book more known. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the great work you do.
So again, you can find all of Brian's links in the description below. Feel free to check him out. Of course, follow him on LinkedIn as well. I see a lot of really amazing posts coming from him. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the future episodes of the Scale You podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button, comment below any questions you might have for Brian or myself. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and with that, small steps matters. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!